There can be only one podcast, and may it be the Prince of the Universe. Hi, folks. I'm Matt.
And I'm Wes.
Hey, welcome.
So nice to be here again.
Is it?
Yes, in the cave.
The cave. The cave filled with toys.
Yes.
Right now. I mean, scattered. There's
yes.
barely a room to step. You wouldn't believe it, but under all these toys is a carpet. Somewhere. Black Friday.
Black Friday.
This past weekend.
Yes.
It's been a thing for a long time. We've talked about this because we've both
we've
worked in the mall.
touched on this before.
We've touched on the subject about what it used to be.
Yes.
But it has changed.
It has
I would
grown.
argue. It is, yeah. And that's what I want to talk about today. If you got good deals, folks, good for you. There are good deals out there depending on what you're looking for. And it is still a busy weekend, the busiest weekend of the retail sales year, right?
For the most part, absolutely.
But I've noticed a trend past couple of years since we talked about it, and it doesn't feel as special as it once was.
Well, I think a lot of that's due to the expansion of it turning into years ago when we're going to open on Thanksgiving, and now it's turned into, well, hey, we're going to run it all week because everyone has a massive amount of units on hand.
And we need the first person to get their sales on first gets the money.
Correct. Yeah, they're fighting for their audience. So it kind of it's good for the consumer.
Yeah, it is.
Because you have a lot of people competing for your dollar, so who's going to give you the best deal?
Yeah.
As opposed to, like one retailer has this one item, there's 5 of them that may have the exact same item. You're just going to look and see what the benefit of buying from each one of those retailers is.
Yeah, and to go, this is kind of going back on what we said. This is years ago, 2 years ago. I want to say when did we talk? I can't remember. We talked about this a long time ago.
Yeah, it was a couple
years
ago.
And I was laughing about the part where JCPenney or Mervyn's, back when we were working at the mall, said they're going to open up at 5 in the morning.
Right.
And I remember saying clear as day to you or whoever, it's like, who would come to the mall at 5 in the morning? Seriously.
Right.
And then it went to midnight,
right?
All the way. Eventually, just crawled right up to midnight, almost instantly. A few years later,
yep.
And then midnight was the start. Well, then people said, "Well, I got to get an earlier start than that," so it starts at 10:30. It starts at 6. It starts at 4 that afternoon.
Right?
And now it starts on Monday, the week of Thanksgiving. Tuesday,
correct.
The week of Thanksgiving. Wednesday, every day there was a new the Black Friday sale is now. Like, we can't wait, because if we wait, you're going to spend your money on other things, and we want you to spend your money on us. It is good for the consumer, but whoa. And now I don't feel, even though Black Friday does have a lot of good sales and everything, I don't feel, it's like that's not the only day to shop, it seems like. Because everyone's trying to get that dollar. Of course, inflation is a big deal right now.
It doesn't have that sense of urgency that it used to have. So I think that's a lot of it. Which can be a benefit, so you don't have that stress level when tensions get too high. Like they had that many years ago, and there's plenty of footage for you to look at where people just the anticipation and the staying up late or whatever they had to do just spirals out of control. Now it's a lot more controlled, and I think the gimmick is not a gimmick anymore. It is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is, which is just another. And there's sales on Saturday and Sunday, all through the weekend.
And there's a giant thing the following called Cyber
Monday. But the thing is, though, that is nothing now, because now online retailers do their Black Friday sales, and that's really the big
what
one.
I'm saying. Like that's a lot of it now. So it's almost just encompasses for over a week.
What was it? What's Saturday? Small shopping Saturday or local Saturday or something like that?
Yeah.
I mean, they give a name for everything now. Cyber
Exactly.
Monday, Giving Tuesday. You give to charities on that Tuesday after. I mean, it's cute. We're trying to make every day a shopping or spend your money holiday. But
we're an inclusive environment these days.
I'm telling you. It's still a weekend where stores make the biggest amount of sales.
Right, yeah, you're definitely going to have your highest foot traffic, and probably you're going to have people that only shop once or twice a year. So those people are always interesting to try to help and to see exactly how you can exceed their expectations.
I like how you put that.
Yep.
Okay. You're a people's person.
Yes, I am.
I'm telling you what.
For the people.
Can I mix the red coupon with the green coupon? I'm kidding.
That is a question from time to time.
I have been witness to the questions.
Yes.
And it was almost like, I know the lady wasn't trolling you, but it felt like one of those comedies. What if I put 2 reds together? Yes, that counts because they're both red.
It's like Clerks when she turns around and says, what about these 2?
Exactly.
And he said, these are horrible.
What about 2 reds and a green? Well, that doesn't match, so that would not be allowed. What about 3 greens? Yes, because they're all green. What if it was 2 greens and a red, but then another green on top? I mean, it's just like the same, and they kept asking, it's like that kid in the back seat is, when are we going to get there? And she wasn't making a joke either. But it's almost like, it felt like a scene from Borat.
Well, I think my experience is that people they're very guarded, and they don't have their trust issues, which Lord knows we all have those, and they bring that into their shopping experience, which can be difficult to break through that wall, because more often than not, people are trying to give you the best deal, and they're going to go out of their way as much as they can to ensure you get the best deal. I think sometimes people get in their own way because they overthink it, and they think it's not like buying a car where there's finance charges and there's all of these like hidden loopholes. I mean, you're buying something. You just have to be really good at a 6th grade level of math, and you probably can pull it all off.
Well said. Well said. Let me ask you this. Have you done any Black Friday shopping? Do you do this?
I do it
online here.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I haven't bought anything. I'm not trying to sound negative. I haven't. Just the stuff I guess I'm looking for just never is on sale. So the past few years, I have not found a deal that's in my wheelhouse.
Well, I think when you work sales, you become conditioned. At least I have, and a lot of people that I know. That's how you shop. Like it's like if you're buying a car, some people are like, I want this particular paint, I want this kind of interior, I want blah.
You know exactly to the T what you want. Yeah.
This is what I want, but I want the best deal, so I'll take a blue versus a white, and I'll take tan interior versus black or whatever.
I'll make some concessions,
right? Because I want a better overall deal. So for me, that's how I shop. But for a lot of people, especially for Christmas, and my God, you can relate to this. You've got a plethora of young children around here.
Yes, I do.
Kids have a very exactly what they want. Like they may want this type of princess with a blue dress and blonde hair, and if you get something similar, that's just not going to cut it.
How many times when we were kids did we ask for something and we got something that was maybe in the ballpark or your parents thought, but it was like, this ain't no He-Man. This is a,
Family Dollar Man.
Family Dollar Man. Well
yes.
put. And you're not fooling me, and you're not fooling anyone that I got what I wanted. I got the cheaper version.
Even with Heath Futch's one bad eye and good eye, he can see that this is not a Masters of the Universe.
Wow.
Accurate scale toy.
Wow.
Yes.
Brutal.
Yes.
Savage.
Yes.
If he was awake, he'd have strong words for you.
Yes, he would. He would point at me.
He would point at you.
Like Uncle Jesse on Dukes when it comes on.
Exactly. Maybe a little finger wagging.
Yeah, there you go.
Maybe a little shaming.
Possibly.
As one index finger rubs on top of the other one, which no one does anymore.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a thing anymore.
No, you did. This doesn't mean any, shame doesn't mean nothing now. It's something that's kind of disappeared. One of those things that people used to say or used to do.
Maybe we're a shameless nation these days.
Probably so. Wouldn't say shame, I guess. So the other question is, the Christmas season as a whole is very, very busy.
Yes.
Yes. Do you notice a difference? Because I've kind of noticed, because I've been taking some polls myself at work. Independently. Now, these are by no stretch of the imagination true.
Okay.
But I find a lot of people tell me, and I know this is true too, because I know it happens around my family and the missus and everyone. They wait and do their shopping Christmas week. I mean, it's like last minute. I mean, one thing after the other. Maybe they couldn't use their paycheck for something, and now this is it. Well, I mean, end of the month they probably use their paycheck for bills, and now the 15th they got paid again, and it's like 10 days to Christmas. I think
this year will be a closer resemblance to that overall, due to a lot of people making a lot less money this year than they did last year.
Right, because things have been inflated, though.
Right.
People making the same amount, just the prices of everything.
Well, not necessarily. A lot of people are making a lot less.
Oh, that's true, too. True, too.
In the fact of, especially with numbers being the way they are and people that have an incentive-based job, the incentive is quite different than it was 2 years ago, because people have kind of reconditioned and relearned how to spend their money. It sounds like we're talking financial stuff too much. But anyway, I think that people are shopping much more that way now.
True. Another thing that we've talked about in the past was certain, you hear in the news a lot of people losing jobs, a lot of cutbacks being made, job freezes, and my place even has a higher freeze in place right now. And anyone, losing their job is basically just filling in another position that's opened up and stuff like that.
It's a lot of creative math with all of that.
It is.
Like the job thing is very. It's not what you think it is.
Yeah. Yeah, and by the way, Merry Christmas. Everyone wants to hear this joyous news we're spreading here, but no, it is interesting though.
Yeah.
And it depends on what what should I say? What consumer goods you're hawking. You are in a nice position, I believe. We've talked about this before.
Yeah.
Because the internet really, everything impacts you, but it doesn't impact you as much as it would other stores, because you are do we mention where you work?
No. With what we sell, it's not something where, a lot of what the market is for people that order like clothing.
Yes.
You may say, hey, I don't know if I'm a large or I'm extra large, so I'm going to order both.
Extra large is different, so yeah.
So I order two, and then I'll just send back the one I don't want. And with my line of work, you don't really have that. So the online impact is not quite as strong as it is in a lot of other specialty retail markets.
And there's not that many retail markets who are like that, who can still stay that way.
No, it's far from it. And especially, but in with shipping rates being the way they are, all of that, I think it's actually going to reset itself. And it is resetting itself for a customer experience, because when shipping gets out of control, you aren't going to have, and it is, aren't going to have all of these deals where it's like, well, I'm going to get it in 3 days. It might be like, well, you might get it in a week, unless you're willing to pay like 4 times what you paid last year for
it. Which is now not worth it. And the messages will start going out, probably did this weekend, is, hey, expect delays.
Yeah, if you don't order it by now, that's how you build in the. That's
3
how you
weeks
build
delay,
that in.
Even. It could, and then packages are getting lost these days. Not in this area necessarily, but in big areas,
major
packages
markets.
Getting stolen.
Yeah.
So it's almost more incentive to be going to the brick and mortar. In fact, I would like to know from our listeners. One of the questions here I want to know: do you go to any brick and mortar store? And if so, which ones? Well, you may do a lot of shopping online. I do a lot of shopping online, but some things you go to brick and mortar.
Yeah, I think that a lot of it will be,
because you'll be seeing
over the next few years is gonna definitely reset itself because of that. Because people in the past 10 years have gotten really conditioned to get it today or get it quickly, and we now have learned that's not going to be the way. It's not going to be like in 1985 when you were ordering something like, please expect 4 to 6 weeks for your delivery, but it won't be.
Well, even so, I would say the pandemic kind of conditioned people to shop online, which they weren't doing. They were still doing, but not in droves that they are now. And because of that sudden increase,
and then we built up this new mess.
The UPS, FedEx, USPS, they can't keep up. Right. They physically can't keep up.
Yeah, overworked.
My cousin works for UPS. He said they can't hire enough drivers because there's not enough trucks. I said, I saw some funky looking UPS trucks the other day. He's like, oh, yeah, we're just taking whatever we can get right now because we can't manufacture them fast enough.
Yeah, and I think, 20 years ago and 10 years ago, it was a lot easier to get people that they're going to come to work early in the morning. And nowadays, people aren't just going to do that. I don't want to go to work at 3 a.m.
No.
By any means, much less unload a bunch of boxes and fight that chaos. So, yeah, those people are pretty overworked.
Yeah, they're pretty overworked and they're understaffed. They're always understaffed. They're hiring right now. You can walk in and get a job with zero experience. Almost zero background check. They'll put your work right then and there.
If you have zero experience, you may get a lot less in the result department.
And then that's where you get the damaged packages, the wet packages. My buddy was joking. He got a package that looked like it had been sitting in standing water for a long time. It was worried if it was wet. I've had that too. Packages torn and stuff. I mean, it just happens. They're slinging boxes back and forth just to try to get things to go.
Sure.
So, yeah, right now, there is a lot of things going for brick and mortar. Because of that, it's convenience. There's a short list of stuff. Megan still loves brick and mortar stuff, but there's a short list of stuff that you have to get in that part. Clothes for me would be one of them. I'd never buy clothes online, only because the sizes.
Right.
You can try them on, and if you can't try them on, you take it home, try it on, and then take it right back.
Right.
I mean, it's just that simple. I hate saying,
because God forbid
go to
you
this
try
drop
something
off.
on in the store.
Well, you can try something on the store, but I'm just saying.
I know, but I sold apparel for so long, and people didn't want to try things on, and I never could really understand that.
Especially if you have dressing rooms.
I wouldn't want to take 2 trips to do that. But
I would never want to do that. I'd go to the dressing room.
I think I'm wired differently.
Yeah, I would go to the dressing room and check it out. But again, it's much easier for me unless it's, and I'll even pick on Amazon here. Amazon's like, okay, go to one of our drops now. They try to make it easier. But those drops, these are, and I've noticed they're mom and pop stores that close at 5 or 6 maybe.
Yep.
And that's pushing it.
Well,
where a local retailer will be 9.
Yeah, but you've got to look at it too. If you're in the business that they're in, which is like I
don't blame them. I'm just
service.
saying it's not as convenient for me if I get off at 5 if I can't make it there in time. Or
I think we've overly conveniented ourselves and then pushed that onto people that work with the general public.
Yeah. No, but I'm just saying I would just agree with you that there's a lot of more things for brick and mortar. Of course, you're going to push brick and mortar. You're a brick and mortar guy.
Well, it's not just so much that. I'm just saying, like, the convenience of everything. It may not be the convenience you think it is.
Okay. Yeah. True. But I would like to know how many people do brick and mortar. What is it that you look for that you won't look for online?
I mean, if you want a good experience, I'll wrap it up with this. If you want a good experience from someone that is providing you a service, try to go in at a time when the sun is up rather than when the sun is down. Because if
last 10 minutes of closing,
if you're going to rush someone that's trying to help you, you're going to ruin your own experience. You got to slow it all down.
Yeah, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I wanted to save a few more minutes because I wanted your thoughts on 2 things that are kind of recent news, even though we can only do these podcasts once a week, so breaking news can happen to be like 2 weeks old. First off, since Megan's not here to talk about it, Jason David Frank, the Green Power Ranger.
Yes.
49 years old, committed suicide.
Yes.
No one knows why. As of right now, as we're recording this, it may pop up a few days when this thing
our good friend
live.
Brandon has many theories on this. He's already used them.
Please share.
I believe that this gentleman was going through a pretty nasty split, either with his girlfriend or his wife. And there was a nasty custody battle.
And he was losing.
Obviously.
Yikes.
And I mean, a lot of people at that age, man, we're going to really take a dark path. When you get in your 40s and you're not getting the kind of gigs you used to get, but
that's true.
Tied into this financial contract with someone that you got a lot of toxic emotions with, that can force people to make a lot of bad decisions.
That's true. And if it is, it's sad.
Yeah, it's horrible. Yeah.
True story, Megan and I knew him for a short time.
I thought y'all kind of had some relationship.
Yeah, we were friends for a year or so. And I mean, like, he would know us because Megan and I went to Comic Cons a whole lot back before the kids and everything, and we would do one almost. It felt like almost every other month.
Yeah, he's been in that circuit for
and
15 years.
Oh yeah, he's been doing that circuit for a while. So I can't remember the first one we saw him out. I can't remember. Megan and I were trying to establish the timeline here, but we went to so many that year. I don't know which was first. I'm guessing New Orleans. New Orleans is usually beginning of the year, and I know we went to that one, and she met him, got his autograph, and we both said hello. You know who we were, where we're from, and then 2 months later, we see him again, and Meg goes, because he was just such a nice guy, Meg goes, I'm going to get another autograph. I went, why? You already have one. Well, she was going to get her sister one. Just another reason to see him. I was like, okay, well, I'm not waiting in line for him again.
Maybe she just thought he looked good without his suit on.
Maybe so. But she went back in line. Well, then he recognized her. It hadn't been that long. He's like, didn't I see you in New Orleans? Or he's like, yeah. She went, yeah, your husband's here too, right? What's his name? Okay, yeah. He's like, well, bring him by. I want to say hello. And she's, hey, Jason David Frank wants to say hello to you. I said, what? Guy didn't make sense. I said, why? He said, well, he remembered me from. I was like, oh, okay. I said, but he said bring you by and so he could say hello. I went, what? No, but I said he didn't. He was just trying to be nice,
right?
Because you were paying for an autograph. I said, okay, we'll go by. I went by. She was like, hey. He was like, hey, man. I said, hey, how's it going? And everything. I was like, okay, bye bye. He's like, so y'all do a lot of Comic Cons, huh? Because Megan was telling me we do a lot of Comic Cons. I was like, yeah, I mean, we do a few. He's like, are you going to be at the one, whatever, in 2 weeks? I said, no, but we'll be at this one. And he's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to be at that one. I said, okay, well, we'll come by and say hello. It may have been Pensacon. I can't remember. Honestly, I can't remember all the names. So we went by, and he was setting up and everything. And I said, well, look, there he is. Let's go and say hello while we're still here.
Yep.
While we're, before the Comic-Con really starts going, went up and said hello, and he remembered us. Hey, Matt. Hey, Megan. What's going on? Okay,
yep.
who are you going to see now? I said, we're trying to get autographs and so on. Oh, okay. Oh, I hear he's awesome. Blah, blah, blah. Just talking and sharing. He's like, okay. It wasn't like, you want to buy something from it was just like,
right.
Hey, thanks for coming by and saying hello. Good to see you. And then I started thinking about it because I told Megan, I said, is it weird? We're kind of on a first name basis with this dude. But at the same time, this dude's on the road all the time. So it's nice to see a familiar face.
I'm sure. Man.
It's nice to see a familiar face and someone you can chat with. Well, I remember the last time of our Comic-Con tour we saw him that year was in Knoxville. And they had some kind of, gala, if you want to hang out at an after party with all the celebrities that were there, you can stay. You have to pay $100, to get into the exclusive club. And I was like, we ain't paying $200. And plus, we got to get home Sunday night. So we can't stay. We'll go on home, and because we both got to go to work on Monday. Well, as we were walking, we had not had time to say hello to him. And as we were walking by, he had a big long line. Megan goes, "Can we say hello?" I said, "Megan, he's got a big line. No, we'll see him next time." And we were walking by, and he saw us, and he stopped to see Matt, Megan, and he's like, "Come over here." And we're like, okay. And everyone's looking at us like, who are you? And we sat down, and he talked to us and bye-bye. He's like, yeah, you guys having fun? Oh, yeah. He's like, y'all been here this whole week? I said, yeah. I said, your line has been so crazy. He said, I know it's been crazy. He said, this is one of the biggest lines because everyone loved him. Everyone loved him. He's great with fans. Super great with fans. And he goes, oh, yeah, it's great. And he said, hey, are y'all coming to the party, though, afterwards? I said, no, we're probably not. I said, I got about 200 reasons why I can't do that. He was like, oh, no. He said, I got you covered. You can come with me. And then I kind of looked at Megan, and we're like, we gotta go. We can't stay.
Right, of course, yeah.
And then we kind of explained to him we couldn't go, but thank you so much. And next time, he said, okay, are you doing? I said, we're not doing any more this year, but we'll maybe catch you next year on the circuit. And but I kind of walked away. I was like, wow, that's incredibly nice, and just a nice dude. He's just a genuinely nice dude. So when I'd heard about it, I felt for him because that kind of sneaks up on you. And like you said, as you get to that age, there's not much. You're not getting the gigs you are, and I'm sure he loved the daughter and kind of breaking up the whole family and the things that are kind of left.
Well, like you said, living on the road. I mean, it's not a. People are going, oh, it's easy. You just sit there for 3 hours and sign your name. Well, exactly. And he probably caught a flight at 6 a.m. that morning, so he got to the airport at 4:30.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
He's jet lagged if he's coming across the coast. So yeah, I mean, it's a. That kind of lifestyle, yeah, it's not working at UPS, but at the same point.
You think about it, he's got to stay from Thursday to Sunday usually. So Monday morning he goes back home, I guess, for Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe jumps the plane Wednesday or Thursday
laundry.
And goes back on the road again.
Yeah, because he may do a circuit of, a con one day, and then he's like, well, I'm going to go to a comic shop 120 miles away, and we're going to set up there. So
exactly,
yeah.
but this is how he makes his living. Because I'll be honest, I mean, the dude's making thousands of dollars every weekend going to see fans, and at the same time, he enjoys meeting fans because they're very appreciative for what he's done.
Oh
sure,
yeah, I mean, there's a piece of for being a fan of something like that, the way we are is, there's such a nostalgic pull of that, just like us sitting around and talking, and that's got to be a fulfilling thing for those people that have the ability to do that if they enjoyed it. But I'm sure after a while, that can be kind of exhausting too.
Oh no, for sure, for sure it can be. But it's sad when that kind of stuff happens. Right?
Terrible.
Yeah, right before the holidays too, and everything. So
holidays bring so much of that on because it's so much a reflective thing. When you get to the end of the year, you look at everything that got you there, and you can kind of get into a dark place.
And a lot of people do go in a dark place around the holidays.
Absolutely.
Because holidays are supposed to be this magical, happy time, but if you're struggling through it, then it just kind of loses its luster, and it just becomes dark winter days, which is what January is to us.
It can be a blue Christmas for sure.
Oh, a blue Christmas. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so that was a shocking one. The other one I think we should mention. Go ahead, Kevin Conroy, obviously. A few weeks earlier.
Yeah, terrible, sad.
Yeah, really sad. In fact, I can't remember if it was Bruce or you that said, "What a time to do! You did your DCAU podcast too soon because it'd been the perfect time to talk about it."
Yeah.
But I mean, the guy is Batman. When I remember on Saturday Morning Salmon Flange a long time ago. CJ and I were arguing who the best Batman was, and he said it's Kevin Conroy. So Kevin Conroy was never in the costume, dude. He didn't act it out. He said, yeah, close your eyes and hear someone speak like Batman. Whose voice do you hear? Well, I mean, yeah, obviously I'm going to hear Kevin Conroy.
Yeah, and I think that the more of a, DC does a pretty good job of pumping out animated movies, and you have a lot of different people play Batman, and when you watch those, it does give you a pull to Kevin Conroy for the roles that you can hear him in because it's pretty iconic.
And Bruce gave me a lot of those. A lot of those DC animated movies are pretty good.
Yeah.
But whenever I hear a Batman voice that's not Kevin Conroy, it's weird. It takes me out.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, oh, that's a fake Batman voice.
Yeah.
And it's
takes
weird.
A minute.
Yeah, but if it's Kevin Conroy, there's a soothing Batman. There's the real Batman.
Yeah, for sure.
And it was kind of crazy. Of course, did he tell people he had cancer? I can't remember. I don't remember that being a thing.
I don't.
I mean, not that he has to. A lot of celebrities keep that secret private for obvious reasons. They don't have to share everything with their fans.
Yeah.
And then he doesn't want that outpouring of sympathy and everything. I get that. I mean, it wasn't like I'm mad at him for not saying anything, but that was also a shocker.
Yeah.
Because when Megan told me, he said, yeah, the guy who played Batman. I was like, who? Michael Keaton and Val Kilmer. Was it George Clooney? I'm not sad.
Right.
But then she says, no, the voice, the guy. I said, wait, Kevin Conroy? She's like, yeah. I said, what? How? And she didn't know. She just got it on her feed, and so I looked.
Well,
it up
he had
too.
a good point. They talked about how, now so many of these kind of movies go to A-list actors that do voiceovers. I mean, it's a high-paying gig now. And he talked about if he was offered the role of Batman now for a new series, he wouldn't get it. They would get somebody else because it's, voice acting. You just don't have that opportunity anymore for those types of things. So I think it's very interesting that he's held up so well, and luckily he was held to a pretty good project that has aged well.
Yeah.
Batman the Animated Series is not something you go and you put on your
it's still classic.
It's not like watching the Super Friends. You go, geez, I feel stupid.
Well, we talked about that.
I feel ignorant. So, you watch that and you're like, man, this was actually pretty damn
still
good.
Quality.
Yeah.
Yes, top quality stuff. In fact, I followed the DCAU up until the last movie that came out in 2019, the Harley Quinn one. I was like, oh, please not Harley Quinn. But it was actually really good because it's DCAU, which they tell good stories and strong stories. And at that moment, Paul Dini, who does a lot of writing, said, hey, we're only doing this if we have a good idea. If we have a good idea, we'll do it. If not, we're not going to. And that's fair. I mean, that was a great thing to do. Don't keep making something just because.
If you have a good idea, let's do something with it. And if you don't, then
Then stop. Don't make any movies. But it is sad because now I kind of wish that they had that one last movie that's coming out after his day. You know, I kind of wish I was having something to look forward to, but there's nothing really to look forward to. And in my opinion, now they need to stop making DCAU. Even if they have the voice of Superman, the Flash, all those people back, it's not going to be the same.
Well, I mean, they've made so much stuff without his voice. I don't think.
Well, I mean, for DCAU is its own independent animated rather than the regular DC animated.
I mean, we'll see.
Either way, all right, folks. That's it for now. We'll see you next time on Princes of the Universe.